of the movie. You understand? I want to explain to the family that this movie was definitely talking about the indigenous races, us. You understand? So I'm going to show some data that I pulled up. I put together an article on Facebook. So I printed it out. I'm going to pass it around when I'm finished to show everybody. And I'm going to jump right into it. But before I do get into it, let's just cover some of the certain, clues that they left in the movie. Now, first off, the brother Jake Sully was a twin, right? His brother's name is Thomas. When you do the research on Thomas, Thomas is my middle name, as a matter of fact, and Thomas has a lot of biblical implications. The book of Thomas, I suggest everybody go research that. Judas Thomas was known as Jesus' twin.
Yeah.
You understand? It was Judas Thomas, and then Yahshua was the other twin. So Jake Sully was paralyzed from the legs down. You understand? His lower nature, so that represented the lower nature. His brother Thomas, who was dead, was a scientist, so that represented the upper nature. So they gave you the transcript of man right there. That represented who they were. Jacob could be considered Yakub. If anybody's familiar with the Yakub theory, that's Jake. Jake Sully is Jacob, Sully, that's Yakub. And yes, so by introducing Yakub, they were showing us the warrior, not the scholar type of they weren't building on a scholar, they were building more so on the warrior aspect of who they are and whatnot, and the taming, and throughout the movie you see the taming of the warrior into somebody. Well, the end of the movie didn't really justify anything in our perspective, you understand? And like I said, when we watch this movie, we could stand outside of the movie theater with a camera and interview everybody coming out of there, and everyone will give you their interpretation of what the movie meant to them. So it's our duty to go in there and take out our interpretation of what it means to us and how it empowers us. Now we all know that it could be considered Pocahontas on steroids. The way that the movie went down, you know, the white guy, the Caucasian at the end, he saves the village, he gets the girl. And he also basically showed, James Cameron showed how they infiltrated us and brought down our empire through marriage, because it wasn't all done by the sword. Bloodline. It was done through marrying into the bloodline. You understand? So by showing the brother marrying the sister who went to, she ascended she was the queen of the village, correct? She's the princess first, and then she was, exactly, and then she sat on the throne, so he basically is on the throne. And then it showed at the end that he was the one who was,
probably, well, I'll let you get back at
yes.
that. It also showed, if you read Sister Rebecca, after the father didn't slay him, okay, we're just gonna move slightly ahead.
Yes.
And he took her over to, actually, they didn't go to Europe, they only went across the water. Mm-hmm. And then he killed her after she bore him a son and sent her to Gravesend.
Exactly. So, in this movie, like I said, it's multi-layered. James Cameron, you know, when you read the story, he said he was working on it for 10 years. He was waiting for technology to catch up, you know what I'm saying? He didn't, you know, he was sitting back. I believe that they were putting this movie together. Nothing happens coincidentally, and the timing was perfect on it. Like my brother said, it was cinematic magic. You gotta understand, we have indigenous group of people on Earth. This is the United Nations saying that there's a tribe that resides in Louisiana as the oldest nation on Earth. You understand? And these are your people. Now,
the ancient ones.
Yes. The registered project number is 215/93 in Sioux. Just read this. From 15 million to 20 million slaves arrived in the Americas between 1540 and 1850 over a 310-year period. Now, you know, we refute that. You understand? That's our argument. We say that there was not a mass exodus of slaves into the Americas. Maybe that these slaves that we had in the Americas were the people that they conquered and they taught them their language.
That's who they conquered, because that's not true. Because when they arrived on these shores, we were already here, so that's impossible. And plus, they ships only hold 200.22 people.
Of course. I mean, and people are having emotional fits about this. You know, they're like sending out death threats. They can't believe that they didn't come in a ship and whatnot. But this is something, if they're well researched, that they will begin to understand the truth of it. And they have the nerve to say the Aztecs disappeared. We don't know where the Olmecs is. They taught the Olmecs their language and they disappeared as who they originally are. We disappeared. We're Negroes, niggas, colors, blacks, and all other things right now. So it's indicative for them to say that we did disappear, because we're not in our state of mind. I'm gonna go into this where they break it down. Ivan Van Sertima writes about the reported evidence for black-skinned natives in the Americas long before the arrival of Columbus, ancient American. From the distinctly Negroid features of colossal Olmec scripture heads and pre-Aztec obsidian bowls being upheld by a figure with unmistakably black characteristics to the bones of Negroid persons excavated from a 2,000-year-old mound in northern Wisconsin. A wealth of material exists to establish the certainty of non-white, non-Indian population living in pre-Columbian America along with these other groups. Many mound builders were huge. Their ancient skeletons were often 7 to 8 feet. And the only other living people on earth this tall are another group of blacks, the Maasai of Africa. Many details are available in Return of the Ancient Ones, a book by the Empress of the Washita, Verdice Tari Washita Turner Galston L. Bay. She is the Empress and head of the present-day Washita Nation in Louisiana and is recognized by the United Nations. Now, I'm going to pass this around, but I'm going to say it slow in case anybody wants to take notes on these tribes. These are the so-called black tribes that I'm going to name off. So, you know, in the age of Wikipedia, the age of Google, the age of being able to contact master teachers online, this shouldn't be hard to do the research so we can all have a better understanding of who we truly are. Okay, the earliest people in the Americas were people of the Negritic African race who entered the Americas by way of the Bering Strait. About 30,000 years ago, a worldwide maritime undertaking included journeys from the Sahara towards the Indian Ocean and the Pacific, and from West Africa across the Atlantic Ocean towards the Americas. According to the Gladwin theory, particularly about 75,000 years ago, it included so-called black pygmies, black Negritic peoples, and black from Australia, Australioids, similar to the Aboriginal black people of Australia and parts of Asia, including India. Has anybody ever seen the people from Melanesia? Yeah. Pitch black. Some of them have blonde hair, features that you don't see in our brothers and sisters from Africa. You know what I mean? But that doesn't take away from who they are. You know what I'm saying? And we also have to start looking at all of their ancient artwork and things of that nature, and you'll begin to understand. All right. Now, ancient native black nations of America before and after Columbus include the Washita of the Louisiana Midwest. That's W-A-S-H-I-T-A-W, Washitas. The next tribe is the Yamasee of the Southeast. That's Y-A-M-A-S-E-E, the Yamasees. The next tribe is the Iroquois. That's I-R-O-Q-U-O-I-S. Then you have the Cherokee Indians. Cherokees, Cherokees. The Blackfoot Indians. And the Pequot and Mohegans of Connecticut. That's P-E-Q-U-O-T. And the Mohegans are M-O-H-E-G-A-N-S. We all know Pequot. All right, the Pequot. The Mohegans are the Mohegan Sun, the natives that we see with the casinos and whatnot, who will not let you come up there and try to move in on their shit.